John Wall, another one of those favorites, or maybe he's just a favorite of Gary Carter back in Stanford, getting bought out from the Houston Rockets, joining the LA Clippers. He missed all of last season, I guess voluntarily on the chilling list. You know, he when the Rockets were not on the same page, there was kind of a question about why he didn't push to play, but now he is joining the Clippers team that, if they're fully healthy, is as dangerous as any team in the NBA. So now we're going from one brother to another brother. Chris Miles joined us here, host of a bunch of shows for NBA TV. Chris, you've spent a lot of time in the Washington, D.C. area. You know John Wall pretty well. How do you think he's going to fit in with the Clippers? Do you think he has enough left after taking a full year off?
Absolutely. I don't think he'll be the same player he was when he was hitting game-winning shots in the playoffs against the Celtics. But I did hear you kind of throw a little shade like he didn't want to play. The last couple of years, John has been recording all those videos, trying to get on the court like, hey, Houston, put me in the game. I'm ready to play. What are you guys doing? I think the thing I always loved about John Wall from the first time I met him is, you know, he's always kind of like a little timid in interviews. That's because he curses too much. Whenever you get him right off the camera, he gives you the real John Wall, and it's all about, hey, who thinks they can beat me in basketball? I'm gonna get this guy at work, blah, blah, blah. That's how he is. So to be there with Kawhi Leonard, to be on the same team as him, man, I think John will adjust. I just don't know his ability to shoot without the ball, like catch and shoot. I don't think he's very good with that. And with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, he's going to have to figure that out. And hopefully that's something he's worked on the past couple of years.
Go ahead, Carl. What you got?
Chris, and I, you know, it was good to have you on there. You know, we chat often about different stories. We'll keep that between us. But how wild is it, you know, thinking about this NBA free agency, as, you know, is Woj and Shams and Vince and Chris about to get into their Twitter wars. I'm going to be refreshing to see who's breaking the next news. How crazy is it? Like, we just had Christian on. Is that with all these storylines and Kyrie and KD and John Wall and what are the Lakers going to do, the Knicks, we will get to that. But Ben Simmons has been like the biggest question mark in the league for the last year, and no one seems to be talking about him or that storyline because everything else seems to be so wild, and it just keeps blowing my mind that we still haven't given that situation and what it could or couldn't mean for Brooklyn because we're so focused on KD and Kyrie.
You know what Ben Simmons feels like? First of all, he's a 2K cheat code, right? So if you have him, it's like, oh, you can win championships with Ben Simmons and destroy people. But in real life, he won't shoot the ball. So then you go, all right, what are we doing with him? He feels like the girl at like your sophomore year in high school was hot and everybody was like, oh, what about Shamika? Shamika looks so good. She fine. And then by the time you get to college, you realize, she got too much happening with her. Well, now we're in our 20s. You know, she didn't keep herself together. Now, you know, Ben Simmons has had all these surgeries. I think people have just moved on from Ben Simmons, all the off-the-court stuff. Why would we discuss a guy that didn't play last year, that hasn't been to a conference finals, that hasn't really been a difference maker? I think it's like, okay, he's on that team. If he goes out in Brooklyn and he plays well and he's an all-defensive team guy and he plays, you know, 70 or more games as an all-star again, then maybe we'll talk about what kind of effect he can have. But right now, why would we do that? He's like Shamika from the 10th grade that didn't age very well.
You sound like you got some. He got some real memories. That is
That's a real person, by the way. That's a real person.
Right. Chris, get it off your chest, man. Something you want to tell us? Is there something you want to direct to her right now?
Hopefully she saw this. I'm doing well.
Well, speaking of who's doing well, or at least who thinks they're doing well, you know, you're a New Yorker, so the Knicks are always, for whatever reason, top of mind. They cleared a bunch of cap space. They did not draft the person in the first round. They moved some stuff around, get Kemba Walker out of there. They wound up making some moves yesterday, getting Nerlens Noel and Alec Burks shipped to Detroit as a salary dump to make room for Jalen Brunson. according to our buddy Chris Haynes, 4 years, $110 million, which is kind of a middle of the pack signing for a point guard, believe it or not. But Chris Miles, do you think that Jalen Brunson is going to be the guy to help bring the New York Knicks back to some level of prominence, or is he just a guy?
I think he'll be first of all, let's hope that the Knicks at any point rise to prominence. I mean, you use the term prominence. I got to think my entire life, I'm 40 years old, there's never been prominence. There's been relevance for like 3 years in that time period, all right? So for prominence, I would say to answer that question, then it has to be the other guy, right? Like, okay, so Jalen Brunson, you sign him as a free agent, then the trade has to be DeJounte Murray, has to be, the sign and trade for DeAndre Ayton. It has to be someone else. If there's not someone else, then this doesn't move the needle at all. I like RJ Barrett, but you'd have to keep him, add someone that's better than both Brunson and Barrett for this to make any noise at all. If it's just Jalen Brunson and the Knicks team that's out there right now, just who's the best lefty? Is it Julius Randle? Is it Jalen Brunson or RJ Barrett? That's all we're going to talk about as we lose games.
I'm a lefty. I'm a lefty, so you're going to chill out with that lefty slander. All right, but go ahead, Carl.
Lefties get love over here.
No, and Chris, if it's like, right, I'm not mad at the money that Jalen's going to get, right? I understand the market. I made my jokes on Twitter about it because it's funny, and I love taking shots at New Yorkers and Knicks fans. The issue here is the hype about the potential Jalen Brunson signing, because it hasn't been, this news hasn't been broken, no contracts have been signed. This is not a guarantee. It's not, if they get Jalen Brunson, great. We can understand how this could work possibly in a Tom Thibodeau offense if he could actually coach offense, but that's a whole nother story. But it's the fact that we're treating this, and New Yorkers and Knicks fans are treating this like this is the missing piece to something, and it was like, this is what New Yorkers and New York media do. Remember a couple years ago when they were getting Kyrie, KD, and Zion, and it never happened? And it seems like every summer, this is the free agency summer that they're going to get a great free agent that's going to change the culture. And it's like, it hasn't happened. Why do y'all keep thinking this is going to happen? And it drives these narratives, and it never happens, to where if they get Jalen Brunson, and he could be really good, but if they don't do anything, they're going to point and blame at Jalen Brunson but for not being the savior, when that's not who he is and not what he's ever going to be if this thing does work. And I'm just always frustrated in how the story around this situation has evolved to where it goes from being this is a piece they need, to they're treating this like he's Bernard King or something. It's just like, come on, y'all, like, New Yorkers, stop doing this every year. Chill out.
Well, I think what they did at the draft made it interesting because, look, when the Knicks put the team together with Carmelo Anthony and Amari Stoudemire, that was the time where it was like, oh, it was hope. But then Amari Stoudemire immediately got hurt, and that never came to fruition. I think that's the last time there was a Knicks group, which is a decade ago, that we were like, oh, maybe this could be something. So, like you said, it has to be another guy for it to make any waves, and that guy seems to be Donovan Mitchell. That's the name we haven't mentioned, people. You saw him at the Rucker with my man Mikey posing for pictures, right? At the opening of the Rucker this year. You saw him at Dykeman. Donovan Mitchell, come on home, man. What you doing in Utah? Utah could take all those draft picks and some other players from the team. Donovan Mitchell, come on home to New York. I know you're a Mets fan. We won't hold that against you. We'll get you a Yankee fitted, right? Everything will be all good.
Why do y'all keep torturing yourselves? It just makes the jokes that much more funny when everybody chooses Siberia over playing at 33rd and 6th. Ain't that where it's at, 33rd and 6th?
Yeah, I guess they
Madison
call it
Square Garden.
I'm from uptown, 100 blocks north is what I know, all right? 39th and Lenox, that's what I know about. That's what we call it. You call it 6th, we call it Lenox.
My bad. I'm not from New York. I lived at 33rd and 6th, and Madison Square Garden was 2 blocks ahead. I couldn't never sleep because the lights was always on because they was always losing. My bad. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. That's just, the Knicks. I'm sorry. Chris Miles, I can't help myself. Taking shots at New York Knicks fans, especially when your owner doesn't come out and talk, your GM doesn't come out and talk, you're leaving fans to their own devices. And I get New York Knicks fans saying, you know what, Jalen Brunson's going to be the answer because guess what? there's nobody telling them with any sense of confidence that he's not. That's the problem. That's a much bigger problem than even whatever narrative is around it, is that nobody's there to actually speak to the people, speak to the media, because they're afraid of their own shadows and afraid of the sound of their own voices. Chris Miles, thanks for joining us, man. So glad to have you on with us, brother.
I'm still just laughing at the idea of Mitchell, Barrett, Randall, and Brunson in an offense run by Tom Thibodeau. That would be a train.
That means you gotta get Tibbs on it. Come get Tibbs working with us at NBA TV. That's what that's about. All right,
wow.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, brother.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.